Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. AMC stock down 5.36%. Something's coming. It has to be. We'll talk about it here in this video. Now, beyond that, we'll go over everything happening in the day today with AMC stock and our broader markets. So let's get into it, guys. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That is the one thing that you guys can do each and every single day on all of these videos to help spread this information, shed a light on the community, what people are trying to do here, and thus increase your odds of potentially making money from AMC stock going higher. Now, okay, something's coming. Now, AMC stock is officially a penny stock today. AMC stock is under $5 per share, $4.76 per share at the time of recording this video. AMC stock is down 5.5%, hitting a new multi-year low. What I think is coming soon could give AMC a massive rally. Now, in and of itself, it's not going to be enough to cause a MOAS-like event. But if you do start to see other dynamics come together, hey, then you could definitely start to see some kind of MOAS-like event. So, something is coming soon, like very soon. And that is Adam Aron will give us a commitment to not dilute shareholders. Because why? He has to, okay? That's the simple fact. Whether it's going to be tomorrow, next month, the month after that, I don't know. I can't look at that precisely and tell you what date it's going to be. But at some point here in the near-term future, Adam Aron is going to give us a commitment to not diluting shareholders. Because the stock's at $4.70 per share. You can't raise capital at these prices. You just can't do it. It does not work. And that's a problem for AMC that is in a position that needs to raise capital. After all, via the last dilution, the major round of dilution we got following AMC's last earnings, AMC was an $11.50 stock or so. Now it's a $4 stock. Imagine what happens if they dilute shareholders again. If AMC comes out and dilutes shareholders again, I mean, you're going to see everyone or a majority of people probably give up on AMC in the large capacity in which I don't think that has happened quite yet. Because why? AMC stock is going to be a $2 stock, maybe less than that. The odds of bankruptcy dramatically will increase. The odds that the MOAS will ever happen will massively decrease. This is now or never for Adam Aron. You need to share this message with him. If you are watching this video and you have your money on the line, you need to tell him, we need a commitment to not diluting shareholders. That's a must at this point. There is no option. There is no other lever that they can pull. Candy don't work. Popcorn don't work. Other different partnerships, buying a gold mine does not work. Nothing else will work besides committing to not diluting shareholders. The longer the better. I'm not going to be too optimistic here. I think a good 6-month pause is probably what we're going to get. But, you know, it could be less than that. But odds are it would be more than that compared to less than that. Last time we had a 6-month pause in dilution. So I think that is coming again. That's the only thing they can do. Now, if Adam Aron manages to do that, if he wakes up and sees the sunshine, or in my case, the snow on the ground, he will see what's happened with AMC stock, that the only path ahead is no dilution. Retail investors, there's not enough money that we can put into the stock to support Adam Aron's dilution of AMC and the stock going higher. All right. There's just not enough capital for that. We don't have enough money to let Adam Aaron, AMC, sell 40 million shares. I mean, what? They sold 40 million shares at like, was it $6, $7, something like that? I think $7. About $280 million they ended up netting. I think it was a little bit more than that, actually, like $300 million. $300 million. Without hedge funds and institutions buying the stock, that's a lot of money for retail to pull together in a couple month time span. Now, why I say retail and why I'm not saying specifically hedge funds and institutions are helping to kind of buy up this total is because they're not. They're not buying AMC stock into all of this dilution. The only time they will actually consider, getting back into AMC is if they get a commitment to not dilute shareholders. That is literally it. There is no other if, ands, or buts about it, right? So I think that's something you definitely need to know. There's just the math here just does not support continued dilution, right? We don't have enough money to continue to support Adam Aaron's dilution efforts. So maybe a little bit unfortunate for Adam Aaron. I know he just wants to dilute as many shareholders as possible, as many shares as possible, but we just don't have all of the money to, follow through with that dilution. Okay. So a little bit of a problem, maybe. We'll see. I don't know when this will happen. The longer this takes to happen, the bigger problem that we are going to see. Okay. Because that's more potentially time that we could sell down lower as people are, waiting for what could be, more dilution. Let's get into what is actually going on with our markets today and AMC stock. I do want to point out the fact Adam Aaron has been pretty quiet here on X. His last tweet was January 7th, so hopefully his next one is a commitment that shareholders will not see dilution, let's say until January 1st or September 1st, something along those lines, I think would have an immediate positive effect on AMC, but it can also allow, again, more hedge funds and institutions to come in, buy AMC stock, and send the stock higher. And then ultimately, that's where the situation could get a little bit better fundamentally for AMC. I'm not opposed to dilution. I just want to be very clear. I'm not opposed to dilution outright. It's a necessary thing AMC has to do. I'm opposed to dilution at $4 per share, $5 per share, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 per share. A little bit less with $10, $9. That makes a little more fundamental sense. I mean, every dollar, let's say 40 million shares, every dollar that AMC is higher, then AMC would theoretically be able to raise $40 million more. That does move the needle. If you're thinking AMC could hit $15 or $20 per share, that's a big difference than $4 or $5 per share when AMC is diluting shareholders. That actually makes a fundamental difference in paying off AMC's debt. That fundamentally makes the company better. Diluting shareholders, doing the conversions of 2026 notes, of high interest rate notes for millions of shares does absolutely nothing fundamentally. It doesn't move the needle. And that's what I find so surprising about Adam Aaron's decisions, just as a little bit of, clarity. Now, here you can see you do have a short interest of free flow at 7.98%. $100.79 million worth of short positions currently in AMC stock. Days to cover 0.99, 20 million shares that are currently sold short. You do have shares out on loan of 15.45 million. Cost to borrow 1.07%. Utilization of 27.68%. And you do have a short score of 51.42 out of 100. So not the most impressive data over here, nonetheless. If we take a look at the option activity here on the day today, volume to the call side is 76.5%, volume to the put side of 23.5%. Interesting flow sentiment today. You have seen 4 orders totaling $190,000 with a positive order value of 0%. So nothing really to write home about as well in that regard. If you take a look at the stock O tracker data for this week, You do have about 1,300 calls currently in the money, 79,000 calls out the money. In the money puts at 27,000, out the money puts at 13,000. So some activity over here. I think it's really going to come down to tomorrow's CPI report. If the CPI report tomorrow is good, then I think AMC, the markets can get a shorter term kind of bounce back. But without that, if let's say CPI is negative tomorrow, well, we're going to be in for an even bigger problem. Now, taking a look at what markets are currently pricing in for Fed policy for the March meeting, let's see. There is 66.5% odds of a rate cut. Yesterday, the odds were 62.6%. So odds are actually increasing here on the day today. That is good. That's a little surprising, all things considered. We really didn't have much data today. And we're still pricing in about 6 rate cuts for 2024, although those odds are actually falling a little bit today from 37.9% to 37.7% here on the day today. So I don't think our markets are trading as much based on interest rate policy. I think markets are trading on recession or not, right? If we go into a recession, stocks are going to do poorly. If we avoid a recession, well, stocks are going to do well. And that's really the bottom line to it. No matter how many rate cuts that we ultimately end up seeing, that's the most important part. And that's really kind of what I'm looking out for and trying to watch out for. If you take a look at the sentiment here for AMC stock on the day today, it's at 1. So extremely bearish sentiment. Message volume is extremely high at 96. So I think message volume is more important because sentiment can change day by day. But you know, a 1 for sentiment, I mean, that is very, very bearish. I mean, it's interesting. And there's no specific news too. You would think a 6% down day for AMC, would be to some degree have some kind of news, but it just does not. Okay. And it looks like sentiment's getting worse here even throughout the day on stock to it. So we'll see what ultimately does happen with that one. If we take a look at the AI investor sentiment survey, I believe at some point today we should be getting a new one. We still have the older one. 48.6% of investors bullish, neutral investors at 27.9%, and bearish investors at 23.5%. So hopefully we get a new one here pretty soon, guys. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Really not too much else to actually say. 10-year treasury yields here on the day today, down about 1 basis point. None of this really matters until we get the CPI report tomorrow. If that comes in as I expect, and we'll talk about it in the next video, then markets, well, are going to do well. If CPI comes in hotter than expected, well, we're in for a little bit of a problem right now. So we'll break it down a little bit more in the next video. That's going to do it for this one. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.